And we're now joined on the line by Shamil Yusuf, the CEO of Vodacom. Thank you for being with us, Shamil. Did this come as a surprise to you? Did you believe that you were just tendering as usual for good government business?
It came as a big surprise, and basically we picked it up in the media, and then obviously the immediate drop in the share price.
Did this government tender seem different to you, Shamil, in size and scope? The Competition Commission is now investigating you, even though you responded to a tender. Should you have recognized that maybe it could lead to this claims of abuse of dominance?
No, I think it was a very well-defined process that was run by National Treasury, and effectively what they wanted to do was reduce their cost to communicate, and basically they then put it out to tender. They ran an 18-month process with well-defined processes, various different stages of it, and we put our best foot forward. Because obviously it's an account for us currently, so a lot of the discounting and so on and deals that they got is obviously to maintain the business that we had as well.
Have you ever done business with government before where it cuts across departments? There is some logic behind that, where you reduce the costs of vetting businesses and then you give them broader business.
So this was the first one where essentially they basically they decided to run a tender. But I think it's important to note that it's also an opt-in process. So basically they ran a tender and the departments have the right to opt in. Should they see benefit in what National Treasury has negotiated.
All right, so you believe that you're going to get through this investigation, no problem, and you do say that you'll cooperate with the probe?
Very much so. So, we've already agreed to meet with the Competition Commission, and, we'll present all the facts behind it on a transparent basis, because I think, we've done everything right.
Mr. Yusuf, finally, I'm glad you're talking. I think there is a sensitivity about any businesses doing business with government right now. I don't know if you agree with that, but also the public are concerned about any claims of dominance around telecoms companies, because that affects our pockets. And of course, this comes as you're also being probed for data costs. So are you trying to deal with those public perceptions?
Look, I think, we've got a very competitive market in South Africa with 4 big operators, 6 operators all in all, that are competing for data and so on. That said, we're very much focused on dealing with the public perception of bringing down pricing. And I think, data prices have to continue to fall, and I think that's a fair reflection, and I think the public are accurate in that. That said, it's a very fine balancing act, because what we've got to do is we've got to continue to invest, bring prices down, and we're doing it at the moment without having the requisite technological advancements in place. And what that is really is spectrum. So, we're having to add more and more base stations to be able to cope with the traffic growth. We're not doing it in the most optimal way because we don't have access to the much needed 700 and 800 spectrum, which is still held up with the digital migration.
It will be very embarrassing if the Competition Commission finds that you could have brought data costs down. So are you confident that at the end of it, it'll agree with you that you're doing your best to bring down those costs within the confines that you are working in? You can't give us anything better.
Very much so. And I think, we will continue to bring prices down. And you would have noted, our recent announcement about dropping out-of-bundle rates. And that's on the back of already, a 45% decrease over the last 3 years in prices already. So we continue to bring it down, but we have to do the balancing act so that we can continue to invest.
All right. Thank you so much for your time this evening, the CEO of Vodacom, Shamil Yusuf. All right. So that was the focus on today's announcement that the Competition Commission will be probing Vodacom.